cousin Harvey only calls when there's a death in the family. He's the custodian of our cemetery plot and must ask them to open the grave, as though beneath the deceptive lid of grass an empty space lies waiting. Cousin Florence has died of a heart attack. Once again, Harvey suggests we drive out together. We haven't seen each other since the last funeral. But over 60 years ago, I babysat him as he toddled about, blonde ringlets at his neck. Each mile on the Long Island Expressway takes us back to the past we share. We grew up on that cemetery. Some families take pride in a homestead or a compound on a river. Ours struggled to preserve a patch of burial ground. In the 1930s, our grandmother and her 5 younger siblings, immigrants from Poland, bought a plot with 60 graves. They insisted we Jews own a piece of land from which no one could turn us away. The family met on the first Saturday of each month in someone's home. Even as a child, I understood the difference between an uncle and a great-uncle, a second cousin and a first cousin once removed. Bubby, my grandmother, held forth, her gold watch swinging like a pendulum below her waist. A leader at the workmen's circle, she could keep an agenda even in a room of boisterous brothers and sisters. Maintaining the cemetery plot was the first item of business, but the family also sent money to a sister in Poland, raised funds for the poor, planned the Hanukkah party and the annual picnic. Bubby embraced the democracy of her adopted country and encouraged debate. But she always got her way. We children would fall asleep, snuggling among the abandoned coats on the bed, awakening overheated and staggering into the night with imprints of coat buttons on our cheeks. When the great-uncles and great-aunts died, I visited our plot again and again, as easy around the gravestones as on the swings at the state park where we went for our picnics. Harvey clutches the wheel and peers into the rain. I'm glad I brought my umbrella. His wife, Cynthia, died 11 years ago. My husband, Mac, 20. In the Jewish tradition, we will place small stones on their footstones today. What's with this strictly funeral relationship we have, I say? When I go, you'll have to introduce yourself and your children to mine. You were the best babysitter, Harvey says. Remember that New Year's when we leaned out the window and banged pans against the sill? But he doesn't promise to call between deaths. We drive through the cemetery gates towards a dense skyline of monuments, so unlike the lawns of our childhood. When we step into the downpour, I don't recognize anyone except the husband of the cousin who died. We are a small family above ground. The rabbi asks us to place a shovelful on the casket. The soil is drenched and heavy, the shovel hard to lift and turn. The thud and scatter of pebbles assaults the pine box again and again. When I bend to place the stone on my husband's grave, I long to laugh with him once more about these relatives who argued every month as they reached for roast chicken and potato kugel about what shrubs to plant at the cemetery. Now, Only Harvey and I remember the aunt who knit sweaters with armholes too tight to move, the great uncle who paid for my mother's piano lessons, the cousin who ground gefilte fish each Passover, or Bubby who marched to demand the vote for women. Soon our family's cherished plot will fill with distant relatives who won't know or care about that once vibrant community of immigrants. And Harvey will pull away from my corner with my drenched old umbrella on the floor of his car.